All right, the next section here talks about the annual percentage yield formula and shows you one quick example. So here's the actual formula to use on the test. Here's an actual example of how you would plug this into that formula and the work you would show on the calculator. And then let's go down and do one. So it says here, what is the difference between APR and APY? And then find an APY for 2.5%. So if you just Google it, what's the difference between APY, I keep saying I, and APR, then I want you to go ahead and write in that difference for you, or at least both definitions, okay? And I'm just going to insert this little Googled definition. And let's talk about real quick if you calculate the APY correctly, it should be slightly more than the APR because it is the APR including compounding. So a little note on that. So the APR represents the annual percentage charged on borrowing money or earning money, and APY takes into account compounding while APR does not. The more frequently the interest compounds, the greater the difference between the APR and the APY. So what do we normally see advertised at the bank? You're probably going to see them advertising an APY, yet when you go to try to get an interest rate on a home someday, your mortgage loan, they're going to advertise an APR. So when you see those two different letters, it means the interest rate versus the annual percentage yield. And that just takes into account the compounding. All right, let's go do a calculation using the formula from right up here. So here we see how we want 1 plus the rate over the number of times compounding. So we're going to go APY equals 1 plus the rate, 0.025. And we're going to go with monthly compounding for this example. And then to the power of, if you look up here, n, which means another 12, and then minus 1. So the n goes in both the denominator and as the exponent. Let's go calculate it in Desmos. Don't forget the minus 1. And we get 0.025288. And so what this tells me is that I could say that if I move the decimal now twice to convert back to a percent, it tells me my APY is 2.53 rounded. So notice that 2.53 is slightly higher than the original APR of 2.5 because it's just telling us how much we're going to earn, including the compounding, which should be slightly less, slightly more. Okay? How'd you do?